Welcome back to my channel, everybody. I'm still feeling my way out about this whole YouTube thing. So I'm going to try just to talk off the cuff today. Last time I had little bullet point notes. Today I want to talk about what AI is going to do to my career and what I'm kind of doing about it. So I'm a journalist. I've been a journalist for more than 20 years. I started out covering breaking news. I was a work correspondent. I ran a foreign news bureau. I switched to covering technology about 20 years ago during the whole .com thing. I wrote for Computer World. And ever since then, I've been writing about enterprise technology because I have kids. You stop traveling the world and getting shot at, and you do something where you're covering business and stuff that companies are paying a lot of money for so that you have a stable job and a stable career. After the .com boom, I had to switch from doing breaking news reporting to doing features. Because when you're covering breaking news, your value as a journalist is your Rolodex. Who can you contact? How quickly how well do you know your beat? What information do you have at your fingertips? How fast can you write up this article? After the internet, these skills became obsolete. You can Google and get anybody's contact information. You can get any press releases you want instantly. You can do a Google News search to get all the background information on whatever topic you're writing about pretty much instantaneously. Before, you had to physically go to offices and at government buildings and request records. And we used to get press releases by mail. So yeah, it was a different world. It was a very different world. And my job changed after the internet appeared. So I went from covering breaking news to doing analysis of the news. And my editors pushed me into it. I did not want to go. I did not want to be a feature writer. I liked breaking news. I liked the adrenaline rush of being on a tight deadline and having to call 20 people in the hopes that one or two of them would pick up the phone and talk to me. It was exciting. I liked doing it. I had a lot of expertise in this. This was my skill set. This was the sweet spot. I knew all these people. I had this Rolodex. I knew all this information. I knew my beat. I had so much invested in my career. And my editors kept pushing me to write features. I was bad at features. I would rather have a deadline that's in 2 hours than in 2 months. And the stories were very different, and the way you organize them and research them was very different. I did not want to do it. I quit my job at Computer World because I did not want to write features. And I went freelance thinking that I was going to pitch all these news assignments and be a freelance news writer. And every single editor just assigned me features. I've been doing nothing but features for the past 20 years. I lucked into it because I quit Computer World before all the layoffs started. And I was already being forced to write features. So I already had features on my resume, and all the editors were assigning features to me. And so I kind of survived the .com thing as a journalist by pure luck and just stubbornness and being annoying and not wanting to compromise and thinking too highly of herself, right? And yeah, and I just looked into this new career. Other journalists became bloggers, YouTubers, podcasters, or many of them stayed breaking news reporters. Many of them stayed feature writers or moved up into being editors. Many left the profession because traditional media contracted and they laid off a lot of people. And all those bloggers, YouTubers, and podcasters, many of them had not been professional journalists before. This was their entry point into the profession. And everybody would be like, oh, he's just a blogger. He's not a real journalist. Oh, she's just a YouTuber. She's not a real journalist. Well, they became a real journalist by doing it. You get practice, you get experience, you develop sources, you start to learn how to fact check things. You become like a real journalist doing it. Um, and it wasn't clear what the new direction was going to be when the internet came along. It was not clear that YouTubing was going to be a career, that blogging was going to be a career, that podcasting could be a career. It's a difficult career, but you're your own boss. You decide how successful you're going to be, how much you're going to market it, how much you're going to promote it, how professional you're going to make it. And the internet gives you a global audience. You can have a global television channel. You can have a global radio channel. You can have a global publication by yourself without any gatekeepers. So that was awesome. That was amazing for the people who took advantage of it. So having lived through that, I know when something similar is coming, and the AI thing is that thing. So it's coming at me again. I'm seeing the train lights. I'm hearing the whistle, but it's dark and I can't see any way off the tracks. So I think a lot of people are in my position. If you're a creative person, if you write or paint or compose music for a living, like the top song on Spotify this week was a AI generated country music song. Isn't that insane? Yeah, I could definitely see it coming from a profession. A lot of stuff that I do, a lot of the expertise I've gained over the past 20 years, an understanding of trends, understanding the relationships between how businesses deploy the technology and customer adoption and return on investment and all those things that go into what I cover, that expertise is now available to everybody. Instead of asking me, people can ask ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT is pretty bad, but it's getting better. It's doubling in capacity about every 7 months. And that's true for all the AIs. It is insane how fast it's progressing. And you probably don't remember this because you're younger than me, but the internet used to be like that too. It used to be really, really bad. There was like no way to shop on it. And reading things on a screen was really unpleasant, and websites were really ugly, and they were inaccurate, and nothing was online yet, so you couldn't find anything, and the search engines were bad, and Wikipedia didn't exist, or if it did exist, it was like just a bare shadow of what it was going to become. So you could be forgiven for thinking, oh, this internet thing's not going to go anywhere. And a lot of people did, and then they got blindsided because the internet improved very, very quickly, because it was so valuable to so many people pretty much immediately. And people could see how fantastic it was going to become. The same thing is happening now with AI. We're already seeing amazing use cases, the fastest adoption rate of any technology in history. That there's a bubble, but this bubble is an investment bubble, not an actual deployment bubble. So the investment bubble is when 100 companies are going to start up, and a couple of them are going to be the next Google or the next Yahoo or the next Amazon or whatever, and the rest are going to go out of business. That's the investment bubble. And we had the same thing during the internet. We had all these companies, socks.com, pets.com, all these companies were .com springing up, and most of them went out of business because they were bad. But some of them became Friendster and MySpace, and then Facebook or eBay or YouTube or Google or Amazon and so forth. And you don't know who the winners are. Most of the companies you're going to bet on that you think are going to do really well, are going to fail. That's on the investment side. On the usability side, we continue to increase our use of the internet, even as all these companies were imploding, because the technology itself was game changing. And the same thing's happening with AI. Yeah, we're having a million startups. Most of them are going to go out of business. Yeah. That's for the idiots who invest in individual companies. The gamblers, they can worry about this. If you want to invest in AI, invest in the fact that it's going to improve overall productivity, and it's going to make it easier for us to produce goods and services globally, because this is a global thing. ChatGPT is available everywhere. The free Chinese AIs are available everywhere. This is going to increase global productivity. And so if you invest in a broad-based index fund, I recommend dollar cost averaging because it's guaranteed to beat the market. Only strategy that is, you are going to benefit from the AI boom because it's going to like lift the economy everywhere because everything's going to get more productive. And every company is investing in this faster than in any other technology I've covered over the last 20 years. AI is real. It is transformative. All the CIOs I talk to, the chief information officers, the chief technology officers, they've been through the dot-com boom because they're my age. They're in their 50s, so they've lived through it. And they can see when something is real and when something is like marketing hype. And they know AI is real. It is dramatically transformative. They're already seeing return on their investment. Most pilot projects fail because they're throwing everything against the wall to see what sticks. And the things that stick are amazing. And they're like, oh my God, we're going to double down on this. We're going to double on this. We're going to double down on this. These things don't work. We'll save them for later, or we'll just cancel them. And let's try the next crop of things. They're already seeing business benefits from the successful pilots that they've done, and then they scale them up. And so the fact that many pilots fail is an indication of how many things companies are trying, because they can see where this is going. And so if you think that AI is going to fade away so you don't have to worry about it, you're making a mistake. If you think the copyright issues are going to mean that AI won't take your job, the copyright issues are being resolved. A lot of the courts are ruling in favor of the AI companies, saying that it's transformative. The biggest win for an AI company was the case against Anthropic by book authors, where Anthropic had to pay $1 billion, $1 billion? Some crazy amount. I don't have notes. I'm just like telling you the stuff, so I forget how much they paid. It was an amazing amount. It was a huge copyright settlement. And it was a big win for Anthropic because the courts did not find them guilty for training the AI. The courts filed them guilty for the piracy, because when they first started doing this, they just downloaded a bunch of pirated books off the internet, and they were training on these pirated books. And then later they hired an adult. I think they hired a grown-up who was working on Google Books. And the guy immediately stopped the piracy, and he bought a whole ton of used books, ripped them apart, scanned them in, and used them for training. And that was totally legal. So if you get your content legally by, say, scraping the internet or buying used books, then it's fine to train on them. Piracy is wrong. Don't do it. Scraping the web or scanning in books, totally legal. And so this was a huge win for AI companies. $1 billion here, $1 billion there in fines is nothing. If they're allowed to go ahead and train, that's a huge win. And the reason they're allowed to go ahead and train is because they're transformative. They take all the stuff they're learning and turn it into something new, which AI does. AI doesn't just like regurgitate its training data. It synthesizes, it projects, it does analysis, it does original analysis. A lot of people misunderstand this. AI is not autocomplete on steroids. You can upload an unpublished story to AI or an unpublished book, and you can ask it to analyze it and tell you which parts work, which parts don't work, where the plot holes are, where the loose threads are, and it will tell you. It's analyzing a book it's never seen before. It's doing original analysis and telling you its conclusions. This is an insane level of ability. It's absolutely insane. It's winning major math competitions. It's writing original code. It's doing scientific research. It's tested higher in creativity than humans. It beat us at Go, which is a game of intuition that we like learn over, decades of playing the game. It played the game against itself and developed that intuition. And it came up with strategies that humans had never come up with, had never seen before. So it's capable of all this stuff, and it will improve the wealth creation of the global economy, just like all previous technologies have. It will not be, equally distributed because that's politics. But that's where you vote and you make sure there's a safety net and that the profits go to the people who are actually doing the work, not just to, the company owners. You want you want decent taxes, you want a safety net, you want unemployment insurance, you want retraining, you want people to be able to find the new jobs in the new economy, whatever they're going to be. And there's going to be tons of new jobs. And I will talk about that later. I will talk about later the fact that a ton of jobs are going to be created as a result of this. And they're not just like AI prompting jobs. Real jobs are going to be created as a result of this because the growth in the economy will produce wealth, and that wealth is going to be put towards a ton of jobs. And just because AI can take a job doesn't mean it will. Like we've had automated restaurants before, like in the 50s, the automats. Nobody liked them. People like having a human bring you things, right? If we wanted a machine to make our dinner, we'd pop something in the microwave. We pay extra for certain types of experiences. And when we have money, we will spend that money on those things. We don't sit on our money. We spend it because that's what we do as humans. And we spend it on things that have meaning to us. And we might buy the cheap commodity thing when we have a little bit of money. But when we get more money, we buy the fancier thing, the brand thing. We buy the the unique thing. We buy the handmade thing. We buy the thing by designer. We buy the luxury thing. All those things that we pay extra for, they involve human jobs. And we're going to have money to pay for those things. And that will create human jobs. And that will create new jobs in areas that we can't even imagine right now. Who could have imagined 25 years ago that sitting at home in your basement, playing video games and saying snarky things could net you millions of dollars in income a year? Who would have thought that trying on makeup and looking pretty was going to be a career? Who would have thought that pointing your camera at your cat and filming them doing stupid stuff was going to be a career? And there's people doing like all these things on YouTube. There's people cleaning other people's houses for free on YouTube, and they're getting enough money from ad revenues and sponsorships to do it full time and to hire staff and to travel around the world to clean houses. It is, and I watch all those channels, so I love them. Nobody would have imagined that this was going to be possible, but it became possible because as a civilization, we now have the wealth to afford it and the distribution channels to support it. AI is going to do the same kind of thing, but in new areas. And we don't know exactly how yet or what those new areas are going to be. I do believe that being human is going to be a big advantage because being human is not scalable. If you're writing press releases, you can have an AI write those press releases, and now you can write a million more press releases than you could have before and send them out to everybody. And I delete every single press release that comes to me from somebody I don't know because I don't have the time to spend figuring out if this is a real press release or a guy in the basement pretending he's got a company. I only look at press releases from companies I know, from PR companies, or from like vendors I know, or from PR companies I know, where a human like kind of says you can trust this. Now, the PR person might be using AI to help write the press release, and the company might be using AI to help, improve the grammar or whatever. I don't care. I'm totally fine with it as long as there's an element of trust. There's a person I can talk to about this. There's something that is meaningful, that is important, and that is unique here, that it's not mass generated, that it's not like this commodity that everybody can get. If everybody can get it, there's no benefit to me as a journalist writing about it, which was the same as doing the .com thing. If everybody gets the press release, there's no benefit to me as a journalist to rewrite the press release and publish it. I need to add something more to it. I need to add analysis. I need to add like some kind of context, something. So the same thing's happening now with AI. If everybody can get this information, then there's no value um, to have building a career on that. So if everybody can get my expertise, if everybody can get the background and the trend, if everybody can get the meaning of it, the context of it, I need to do something different as a journalist. And this is what this channel is going to be about. It's about how am I going to do this? So I have some special insights into this that hopefully will work out. So first of all, I am talking every day to the people doing this at the highest levels in the world. So, for example, I talk to all the big consulting firms. Consulting firms are exactly in the same position that I am in, except on a much, much bigger scale, because they've got like billions or trillions of dollars at stake here. They have like huge companies, they have like this massive consulting industry, and they're about to be decimated. They're going to be devastated by AI because they're selling expertise, which is what I'm selling. I'm also selling my expertise. They're selling their ability to get stuff done. They're selling their knowledge of trends, their collected wisdom and experience, and all this other stuff. Stuff that AI can do. Instead of asking a consultant, what should I do next? You can ask AI, what should I do next? And you can ask an AI that has access to all your corporate documents, and it has access to all your financials and all your history, and can give you an answer in seconds. You don't have to wait months for the consultant report for a consultant who's going to do the same thing. You can get the answer in seconds for like hardly any money at all. So for the consultants, they're rebuilding themselves as transformation companies. They're holding people's hands as they help them figure out what jobs are going to look like. They are becoming cheerleaders. They're becoming ambassadors and motivators and change managers, and the kind of the human value added on top of the basic advice. And they're also going into the whole platform building. They're building AI platforms and selling the technology to their customers too, kind of get ahead of their customers building the technology themselves, and like taking the consulting companies out of the picture, which is also going to happen. So I'm paying very close attention to what the consulting companies are doing. Some of their stuff is not relevant to me. I'm not going to building AI platforms. But some of this stuff is relevant, like the cheerleading, the hand holding, that human connection, that kind of thing. And how exactly that's going to play out, we don't know yet. So I'm keeping a very, very close eye on what's happening there. Another thing that I do is I write fiction novels. I write science fiction, a positive vision of the future, virtual reality, AI, that kind of thing. I also edit a science fiction magazine. And so as a fiction author, I'm creating stuff that AI is getting very good at creating. I already mentioned that the top song was AI generated. AI photographs and paintings have won won major art awards. People can't tell that it's AI versus human generated. And in writing, there are channels you can follow. Joanna Penn, uh, Jason, who does a nerdy novelist, and they're talking about how they use AI as part of their writing process. And the AI becomes kind of a co-author or writing assistant. And the ones who do it well, you cannot tell that AI helped. You can tell the bad AI. The bad AI is really to spot, really easy to spot. The good AI is impossible to spot. And there's already people who are doing it well. So, so what do you do? Like, say you're an artist and you're making a beautiful painting, and AI can copy this painting and create million variations of it for free because a lot of these AIs are free. Like, what do you do? And for artists, there's a clear and obvious way forward because you put yourself in the shoes of the buyer of the art. So I'm buying art for my wall. I have this empty wall right there. And I want some art to put on it. So I can go to a dollar store and get a big piece of art by a famous artist, Van Gogh, Monet, Picasso, for like a couple of bucks. It's a print, obviously, it's not original. But if you step back far enough, you can't tell, right? Um, and I mean, I don't even have to go to the dollar store or Walmart. I could print it out on my printer. Um, I could throw the art on my television screen. In fact, I have that. I have a screensaver on my TV that shows famous paintings. I can have a new famous painting on my wall every couple of minutes. Do I value that painting? Do I value uh, like the painting by Van Gogh of the Starry Night? It's a beautiful painting. I would not be able to do a better job of that painting. A local artist here in Western Massachusetts probably won't be as good as the Van Gogh, right? The Van Gogh print is better than what I can make or what any artist I can afford can make. But to me, the value of that Van Gogh painting is the value of the paper it's printed on. That's it. Because it's mass produced commodity. Now, the original Van Gogh is unique. It's special. If I was able to get my hands on it because it was stolen from the museum, I would pay a lot of money for it if I was the kind of person who would, buy stolen art and could afford to buy stolen art. Because it's unique, because it has a story, because it has a deep human meaning. It has deep emotional value and social value. You can show it off to people and say, yeah, don't tell anybody I have it. But like, this is from that famous museum heist. I'm the one who bought it. That's social value. That's emotional value. That's relationship value. That's historic value. All kinds of value that's not related to the price of paint on canvas. The value of that painting is not the cost of the canvas and the materials. AI is like any kind of mass production method. The cost of the product is reduced down to the cost of materials, which for AI art is practically zero. It's like if they show you a couple of ads, they've covered the cost of production of it. So our perceived value of it will also drop to basically zero. Having famous paintings on my wall, on my TV, is valueless to me. When people come to my house and the TV's on in the background because I forgot to turn it off, because I'm pretentious, I don't want people to think I'm watching TV, but like if I forget and the TV's still there, it's going to be showing famous paintings because that's what I set as my default. Nobody's going to say, oh my God, Maria, what a beautiful painting you have on there. No, it's just a TV showing famous paintings. It is valueless. It has zero social value. It's there just to look pretty on the background. It's the art equivalent of elevator music. And AI art falls into the same category because it's mass produced. It has no emotional connection. It has no social value. It's pretty. And like all the college students have a print of Van Gogh on their wall. It's popular. The Walmart and the dollar store make a lot of money selling Van Gogh prints. So it's not like zero value. A lot of people enjoy that AI music that's on Spotify. Um, but when people start spending real money, they want something that has meaning, that has emotional connection, that has social value, and AI produced stuff has like rarely, if any, social value. It has historic value, uniqueness, all these other measures of value. Like I can go to Walmart and get a sweater for $5. I think this is an Amazon sweater that I got for like maybe $30, right? Um, if I had more money to spend on a sweater, I might go to a local craftsperson and pay maybe 100 or a couple of $100 for a sweater, or go to a designer and spend $1,000 for a sweater. Or I might like wearing a sweater that my grandma made for me or that my sister knitted. That would be a sweater that has emotional value. Or I might want to have the same sweater that Taylor Swift wears. So they got some social value. It makes me feel happy. It has emotional value. And those kinds of sweaters, those kinds of artworks, that kind of music where you pay extra because of that extra value, that's where the opportunity is for creators. And this is where live music is important, where collectible albums are important, where signed books are important. So for creatives, they already know how to do this, which is a fantastic thing. Artists, this happened to them 100 years ago when photography came out. It's okay. That's my little doggy. So art used to be representational for the most part. And a lot of artists made money by painting portraits of people. Wedding portraits, baby portraits, rich old guy portraits, that kind of thing. And when photography came along, photography took all that business away. And photography also took away product images for catalogs, also a huge source of art and jobs for artists. Artists evolved, and the art industry grew. We have so many brand name artists that appeared after photography was invented. The Picassos, the soup can guy, the guy who throws paint at the canvas guy, the woman who paints the sexy flowers woman. I know all their names, but I'm blanking on them now. Pollock. And anyway, so all those people came along after photography, and art became this huge industry of investment and galleries. And when I bought some art for my daughter as a wedding present, she recently got married, I went to local galleries to look for prints and original works by local artists because that has meaning. I didn't buy her a print of Picasso, even though Picasso might be better than the local artists, because that print of Picasso would have very little value unless I somehow was able to like find a unique limited print of some kind. But artwork by local artists that is unique, that has meaning. It's from her. It's from the area where she grew up. It has some significance, and I had to look for it. My friend and I went to a whole bunch of galleries. We spent hours in the car driving around looking for just the right thing. So there's multiple levels of connection here. It's unique art, it's local art, it's art that I invested time in finding. So artists have known this. Plus, there's a whole bunch of related art industries. People who learn who want to learn how to paint, take lessons. People who paint at home, buy supplies. There's um, there's groups and there's you can go on a cruise where you're painting and there might be like lessons by famous painters there and there's TV shows where you can watch people paint, YouTube channels where you watch paint dry. So there's a big industry around it. The same thing happened with gardening. We all used to have to grow vegetables to survive, and 95% of us were working in agriculture. Now, like 5% of us are. Technology took 90% of our jobs. 90% of our jobs were taken by technology. We did fine. Money did not disappear. Work did not disappear. Our unemployment rate's still at record low levels. We did fine, even though technology took 90% of our jobs because we discovered we wanted more stuff. We weren't just satisfied if we had food. We wanted more. We wanted professional football. We wanted medical care. We wanted university degrees. We wanted we wanted multiple sweaters in every imaginable color. We wanted to own books. We wanted to learn how to read. We had all these desires that arose once our basic needs were met. The same thing's going to happen again with AI. Our basic needs are going to be met even more so because AI is going to make everybody more productive. So there's going to be more goods and services. And now we can think about other needs that we have. And so this is where the whole planning for the future career comes in. What are people's core needs that AI cannot fulfill? And one of them is the need to be respected by other people. That is a core human need because we're social animals. You know, we care about what other people think because that's core to our survival. That's how we evolved. And so we want other people to be proud of us. We want other people to take care of us. We want other people to respect us. And AI can like fake some of this, but we know it's fake. We know that a Tamagotchi pet is not a real animal, right? We know that a video game girlfriend is not an actual girlfriend because they don't choose to be there. It's kind of like hiring an escort. They're there because you're paying them to be there, not because they honestly care about you. And AI is, even if AI is like perfect, looks exactly like human, the robot is perfect, and the AI is perfect, it is definitely not going to be better than hiring an escort because the AI is not sentient for now. The AI doesn't have a choice of being there or not. The AI is paid to be nice to you. You do not get any respect from your friends or family if you bring an escort to a function. You are not going to get any respect from anybody, no matter how beautiful your AI girlfriend or boyfriend is. It's going to be just like sad. It's just so sad, right? Because when you have a relationship with a real human, that relationship is risky. That human might reject you. That human might call you names and slam the door and stalk out of the house and spread bad rumors about you to all your friends. Huge risk. The risk is what makes you valuable. If you climbed Mount Everest in a video game, you would not be bragging about this. You would not put it on your LinkedIn profile. Climbing Mount Everest for real is risky. It's expensive. It's time consuming. If you climb Mount Everest in real life, you will be bragging about this for the rest of your life. If you beat the Mount Everest level in a video game and you went around bragging about it to everybody, people would just feel sad for you. Like, yeah. Nice job, you know, because there's no risk, there's no cost. It's the risk and the cost that creates that meaning, that sense of accomplishment, the value of it. When you're dating Taylor Swift, it's like, oh my God, I'm dating Taylor Swift. When you're dating a pillow with Taylor Swift's face on it, that's just sad. That is just sad. And no matter how much you try to convince yourself that it's just as good as the real Taylor Swift, it's not, because that pillow will never reject you, never break up with you, never write a song about you, because it's just the pillow. It's paid to be there. You bought it and you put it there, and it is an object. It is not a person. So so I think that there's going to be fantastic potential for creatives, for people who connect with other people in various human ways, that fulfill needs for respect, for companionship, for support. I go to a restaurant because somebody brings me food. It makes me feel taken care of. I go to a fancy restaurant that I have to like wait for a reservation because it makes me feel special. It makes me feel like I'm part of the in crowd. I will eat an expensive meal by a famous chef that's like tiny and tastes bad because I want that respect. Oh, I'm that person who appreciates fine dining. I'm not. I don't appreciate it. But I like the feeling that maybe I might be. So so that's where there's going to be a lot of opportunity for jobs and for businesses outside of AI. It's areas where people are going to have the money and time to invest because our society as a whole will get a little richer. Things like protecting the environment. We love protecting the environment. We love curing cancer. We love going to space. We love exploring places. We love sports. We love climbing mountains. There's all these things that we love to do that are expensive and difficult and rare for people to do, that are going to become much more accessible to a lot more people, which means more job opportunities, more business opportunities in all those fields. We don't know what those fields are going to be yet. We don't know what the AI equivalent of being a YouTuber or a podcaster is going to be. And there might not be an direct equivalent. We might be doing something completely different. So yes, so on this channel, I am going to try to figure out what's happening based on my conversations with people who are building the technology and deploying the technology, based on my experience as a journalist for 20 years, based on my experience as a magazine editor and as a book author, based on my experience covering major transformations. Like I covered China's transition to, to a technologically forward, cutting edge kind of country. Not politically cutting edge, but they got the economic side of it pretty well. Um, yeah. So yeah, that's my plan. If that's something you're interested in following along with, because these are things that matter to you, then stick around. I am not an AI hyper in the sense of, oh, invest in this, get rich quick with this. No, you're not going to get rich quick with AI. You're not going to get rich quick with AI. If you figure out a way to mass produce something with AI, everybody else is going to figure that out too. It's not really going to give you a competitive advantage. That's the thing. And AI is not shouldn't be part of your core proposition unless AI is your business. So if you make mugs, you can use AI for marketing, for design, for distribution. if you're in the business of mass-produced mugs that people really don't care about, and you'll be competing against Walmart and everybody else who's mass-producing mugs, right? So you want to do something special beyond the AI. You want to do human designers or human spokespeople for the mugs, or you might want to make the mugs by hand, or you might want to distribute them through artsy, craftsy kind of channels. So you want to do something special that's beyond just what the AI can do. So I think that any get rich quick scheme that relies purely on AI, it's not defensible. By the time you figure out how to do it and start building it, there's going to be a million competitors all doing the same thing, and the value of it's going to drop to basically zero. Because the value of mass-produced things is equal to the cost of production. The value of dollar store socks is the money it costs to, make those socks and ship them to you. That's it. If you want to sell something for more than the cost of production, you're going to have to add something special to it. And that's where you kind of have to step beyond the AI, the mass production aspect of it. Unless you want to be in the business of selling socks to dollar stores or, the whatever the equivalent for the industry you're in. And that's really a hard business to be in because there's a lot of competition in there. A lot of people do it very, very well. And there's huge economies of scale. So yeah, any kind of like AI-based get-rich-quick scheme, like say making websites for people using AI. Like instead of paying a human designer $200 to create this website, you can pay me $150 to create this website, and I'll use AI to create it for you. Why would they go to you? They could just ask ChatGPT to create the website for them. It's not a defensible business model. Why write a book with AI and sell it for like $4.99 instead of $6.99 or whatever, when somebody can ask ChatGPT to write the book for them, right? It's not defensible. So if you can do something easily without any additional effort beyond just asking AI, then anybody can just do it themselves. They don't have to ask you for it. And also anybody can go into competition with you. So not defensible. By the time you figure out how to do it, the business opportunity is dead. So I'm not talking about that. And I'm not talking about investing in AI companies because that's a loser's game. That's for gamblers who plan to lose all their money. If you want to invest in AI, invest in a broad-based index fund and do dollar cost averaging, which means you invest the same amount every month. Put it on autopilot. Don't worry about it. Do not even touch it. Don't think about it ever again. So I'm not going to be talking about AI investments and which company to bet on because that's just stupid. Do not do that. And I'm also not a doomer. I mean, there is downsides to AI. There will be massive disruption in the jobs market. People can use it to create chemical weapons or nuclear bombs or whatever. People are using it already to create malware and ransomware and for hacking and stuff like that, and for impersonations, for scams. All that's going to happen. It could become like a nuclear weapon kind of thing that could destroy the world. That could happen too. A lot of people are working on those issues. I am not too worried about it because pretty much the only thing I can do about it is vote. And I do that once every 2 to 4 years, depending on which election. And it's something that, yeah, we need to have more regulation and that kind of stuff, but that's kind of out of my control. And if AI destroys the world, well, then I don't have to worry about it, do I? Because the world's going to be gone, Same thing that if a nuclear war destroys us all, which could still happen. We're still having nuclear weapons out there. Not really something you can practically do anything about. You can vote for a politician who supports the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Pact, but that's pretty much the only thing you can do. So I'm not worrying about the AI doom. It could happen. I think the odds are very low. And I think a lot of people are worried about it because it's an unknown risk, so people are panicking. And I'm going to let them worry about it. I'm going to let them panic. If it comes up in an election, I'll vote in favor of better regulations. But otherwise, what I'm going to focus on is how AI is going to change the world and what my place in that world is going to be. All right, and I think I've rambled on long enough. I'm gonna I'm gonna draw this to conclusion and say if this is something you're interested in, you can subscribe to my channel and follow along in my journey. I post all my articles on my website or links to them, so you can check those out too. I'm going to put the link down below. I'll put a link to the books that I published. A lot of my stuff is available for free on my fiction writing as well, my fiction writing website as well. Check out the magazine I edit, MetaStellar. We uh, we publish a ton of short stories for free. They're all on our website. We've got 4 anthologies out now. We're serializing books. This book is on the reading list for next year's Nebula Award. Fantastic book. It should win tons of awards. Uh, so we do all that. They have a Patreon link. You can support MetaStellar. We're all doing it as volunteers. We've got somewhere around 100 volunteers right now, editing, judging, doing production, all the stuff that we do with MetaStellar. All the money we raise goes directly to human authors writing real original stories. So check that out. I'm going to have a link to that below. I might set up a Patreon for myself as well, so that I can spend more time thinking about these things, and less time worrying about like my next paycheck. So if that happens, that'll be good. But if not, I'm not particularly worried about it. I'll figure something out. I'm pretty confident that new opportunities are going to come along. You just have to keep an eye out for them. That's what I'm going to do. And yeah, subscribe if you want to follow along with me. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye bye.